So let's continue. So to our topic. So yesterday we were talking about Buddha and Buddhism. So his childhood name was Siddharth. So he was Siddharth. He was a prince and he was a Kshatriya. And I told you people that only Kshatriyas were in a position. So only Kshatriyas were in a position to challenge the increasing dominance of the Brahmanas and increasing ritualistic supremacy of the Brahmanas, because Shudras were not in a condition to challenge, even though if they wanted to challenge the Brahmanical supremacy, but still they were not in a position to challenge that. And Vaishyas, they just wanted to maintain a status quo because of increasing tendencies of trade and commerce and agriculture, increasing volume of agriculture and increasing trade and commerce. So only Kshatriyas were left in a position to challenge the supremacy of the Brahmanas, and they did so. And they started challenging the ritualistic supremacy. They had never challenged the Brahmanical community, but they started challenging the ritualistic supremacy of the Brahmanas and prevailing orthodoxy. Because later Vedic Brahmanical religion, it had become an orthodox religion, and social institutions were also getting more and more rigid and less flexible, like Varna institution, Varna system. Varna system became a rigid institution, it became a rigid model, and it came to be based on birth. An earlier Varna system during the Rigvedic period from 1500 before Common Era till 1000 before Common Era, this institution was based on occupation, and it was so flexible, and people were frequently allowed to change their Varna from top to bottom or from bottom to top or at the mid. But in order to grab more and more resources during the later Vedic period, Varna system became more and more rigid, and it came to be based on birth. And now interchange of Varna was no more allowed, which means that institution became a rigid institution and it became an orthodox institution as well. So Kshatriyas were in a position to challenge the Brahmanical supremacy, while Shudras and Vaishyas, they were looking for another religion or another sect where they could claim at least equality, if not superiority, at least they would claim equality. And they were looking for a new religion, propagation of a new religion, and that chance was provided to them by some of the Kshatriyas, like Parshnath. Parshnath existed much before the existence of Mahatma Buddha and Mahavir Swami, and it is said that Jainism was not propounded by Mahavir Swami. Jainism was for the first time preached by Parshnath, existed 150 or 200 years before the existence of Mahavir Swami. And Parshnath belonged to Banaras, Varanasi. Parshnath belonged to Varanasi, and he even himself was a Kshatriya. His father of Parshnath, his father Ashvasen was the king of Banaras, and his mother name was Vama, V-A-M-A, Vama, and he left his home and he became an ascetic, sannyasi, and he was enlightened at Samed Parvat, Samed hilly tract, perhaps in Bihar. Samed, S-A-M-M-E-D, Samed, or S-A-M-M-E-Y-A, Sameya in the Jainism. So Parshnath was the first person who started challenging the Brahmanical supremacy, even before Mahavir Swami and Mahatma Buddha and some more philosophers like Maskariputra Goshal, Ajit Kesh Kambalin, or Sanjay Velathiputra, or Charvak, founder of Lokayat sect. And during the 6th century before Common Era, Siddharth, a prince who belonged to Shakya tribe of Lumbini of Kapilvastu. His father, Shuddhodhan, was the king of Shakyas of Kapilvastu, and Kapilvastu was a part of, it was a Janpad of a Mahajanpad Koshal. And in a Buddhist textbook of later ages, subsequent ages, entitled Majjhim Nikaya, Buddha called himself Koshalan. Buddha called himself Koshalan, means he belonged to the Koshal Mahajanpad. So he was a Koshalan. And Shuddhodhan was his father. Mother's name was Mahamaya. And Mahamaya, she belonged to the Koliya, K-O-L-I-Y-A, Koliya Republic. And he was married to a princess named Yashodhara and had a son with that relationship named, and he was named Rahu, R-A-H-U, Rahu. And in course of time, Rahu became Rahul. This word Rahu became Rahul. Rahu means bondage. Rahu means bondage. So one day, Siddhartha, along with his charioteer and horse, his charioteer Channa, and his horse Kanthak, he decided to visit Kapilvastu, marketplace Kapilvastu. And he went all the way to the market, and along with his charioteer Channa or Chand. And for the first, Siddhartha he visited an old man, followed by a sick man and a corpse or a dead body, एक लाश दिखाई दी. And he felt grief. All these three signs brought much grief to Siddhartha. तो उनको बड़ा दुख हुआ कि लोग बूढ़े होते हैं, बीमार पड़ते हैं, मर जाते हैं. तो उन्होंने चांद से पूछा क्या मैं भी मर जाऊंगा? तो चांद ने बोला सब मरते हैं, आप भी मरेंगे. So then he realized, he started thinking. Siddhartha started thinking, what is the ultimate objective of life? What is happiness? What is sorrow? What are desires? So he asked so many questions for himself. And finally, he saw an ascetic or a sannyasi. Sannyasi means one who has completely renounced this worldly or householder's life. जो गृह त्याग कर दे पूरी तरीके से, सांसारिक माया मोह से दूर, घर छोड़ करके, उसे क्या कहते हैं? सन्यासी. Complete renouncement of this worldly life and householder's life. So while he saw an ascetic or a sannyasi, and he observed, Siddhartha observed that sannyasi, he had nothing, but he appears to be the happiest man on this earth. And immediately Siddhartha decided to be a sannyasi. उसी रात उन्होंने घर छोड़ दिया. And when he left his home, when he left his kingdom, his wife, son, mother, father, and all other relationship, now he was free from all of his bondages. बंधनों से मुक्त. He was free from all kind of bondages. हालांकि बहुत कठिन रहा होगा, but still. And he became a wanderer. And he wandered here and there for so many years. And meanwhile, he was a wanderer. He met with 5 persons. 5 लोग उनको मिले. Meanwhile, he was also taught by Alar Kalam and Rudrak Ramputra, 2 other philosophers. But Siddhartha was not satisfied by the philosophies of Alar Kalam and Rudrak Ramputra, because they taught to him very complicated kind of philosophies. And Siddhartha was not satisfied. And he met with 5 more people, and they were Kaundinya, K-A-U-N-D-I-N-Y-A, Kaundinya, 5 disciples. Kaundinya, Bhaddiya, Tatya, Mahanam and Ashwajit. याद करने की जरूरत नहीं, बस मैं बताता हूं, सुनते रहिए. Kaundinya, Bhaddiya, Tatya, Mahanam and Ashwajit. And they believed in self-torture. Kaundinya, Bhaddiya, Tatya, Mahanam and Ashwajit, they believed in self-torture to know the truth. कि सत्य की प्राप्ति के लिए, ज्ञान की प्राप्ति के लिए सेल्फ टॉर्चर करो, अपने बाल उखाड़ो, अपने आप को चीरो, काटो, मारो, पीटो, भूखे रहो, कई कई दिनों तक खाना पानी मत खाओ। सिद्धार्थ ने ट्राई किया, बट इवन ही वॉज नॉट satisfied by this act of kaya klesh. Kaya klesh means self torture. So Kaundinya, Bhaddiya, Tatya, Mahanam and Ashwajit, they believed in self torture to attain the status of moksha or freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth, or to know the ultimate truth. And even Siddhartha was not satisfied. Then finally Siddhartha went all the way to Bodh Gaya. Bodh Gaya, a place in Gaya district of Bihar, and there he sat beneath a peepal tree on the bank of river Niranjana, and he remained seated for the next 49 days, 7 weeks. He remained seated there beneath the peepal tree, and he started thinking of the problems and एग्जैक्ट सॉल्यूशंस टू दोस प्रॉब्लम्स के समस्या क्या है और समस्या का समाधान क्या हो सकता है. सो व्हाट इज द अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ लाइफ? Is there any soul really? Is there any soul inside our body, or is there any universal soul? And what is truth? What is death? So he thought of so many questions, and for the next 49 days, and in course of time he was finally enlightened. He was finally enlightened. And enlightenment means ज्ञान की प्राप्ति का मतलब क्या? So he had successfully found out solutions to all the questions. जो भी उनके दिमाग में क्वेश्चंस आ रहे थे ना, उसका सॉल्यूशन मिला उनको पेड़ के नीचे बैठ करके. So when he sat beneath the peepal tree, and he thought for a while for the next 49 days, and he remained firm, cool and calm, and he remained totally untouched. 49 दिनों तक लगातार पीपल के पेड़ के नीचे बैठे रहे, and he remained totally untouched. कुछ खाया पिया नहीं, सिर्फ सोचते रहे. And at the 49th day, Siddhartha was finally enlightened. And when he was enlightened, finally he found out all the solutions to the problems of his age, of his society and of his economy, and he again remained seated for the same and under the same tree for the next 49 more days. फिर 49 दिनों तक और उसी पेड़ के नीचे बैठे कि करूं क्या अब इस ज्ञान का, है ना? So then he started migrating towards Banaras, from Bihar to eastern, from western Bihar to eastern Uttar Pradesh. So from Gaya district of Bihar towards Banaras. And finally he reached at a deer forest, Mrigdao 1, जहां हिरन वगैरह घूमते थे, deer forest, and that place is called Sarnath. And when he reached at Sarnath, he met with same 5 people. वही पांचों उन्हें फिर से मिले जो पहले उनके साथ वो काया क्लेश, सेल्फ टॉर्चर कर चुके थे. But they failed to reach at a particular conclusion. So finally when Kaundinya, Bhaddiya, Tatya, Mahanam and Ashwajit, they met with Siddhartha, and but now Siddhartha was enlightened. तो उन्होंने पांचों को बिठाया, बैठो मैं ज्ञान देता हूं. He then Mahatma Siddhartha, now he became a great soul. When he was enlightened, he became a great soul, and he became Mahatma, Mahan Atma, great soul. And Gautam, he was given another name of Gautam because of his caretaker mother. His caretaker mother's name was Prajapati Gautami. So he came to be called Gautam. Siddhartha became Gautam Mahatma Buddha, or Gautam Buddha. Buddha means B-U-D-D-H-A. Buddha means an enlightened person. In the Buddhism, Buddha means an enlightened person. Now Siddhartha was an enlightened person, so he came to be known as Buddha, and he became a great soul, so he became famous under the name of Gautam Buddha or Mahatma Buddha. Gautam because of Prajapati Gautami, and Buddha means an enlightened person, एक ज्ञानवान पुरुष, जिसको क्या कहते हैं? बुद्ध. So anyone can be a Buddha. In the Buddhism, if someone attains the status of Buddha or Mahatma Siddhartha, he is said to be Buddha. So Buddha means an enlightened person. He was enlightened and he came to be called Gautam Buddha, Mahatma Buddha. And for the first, he taught to his 5 disciples, Kaundinya, Bhaddi, Tate, Mahanam and Ashwajit. वही पांचों को उन्होंने पहला उपदेश दिया. And first teaching, first sermon, SERMON, sermon delivered by Mahatma Buddha or Gautam Buddha in the Buddhism, it was a great event, and that's why that event is called Dharma Chakra Pravartan, set in motion or turning the wheel of Buddhism, turning the wheel of religion, called Dhamma Chakra Pravartan. Dharma of Sanskrit language, and in Pali or Prakrit language of the commoners, Dharma became Dhamma. So same thing, Dharma Chakra Pravartan, Dhamma Chakka Pavatan. Dhamma Chakka Pavatan in Prakrit language of the commoners, and Dharma Chakra Pravartan in the Sanskrit language of the Brahmanas, an elite class of that society. So Dhamma Chakka Pavatan, Pavatan means Prakrit, means same thing. Dharma Chakra Pravartan, turning the wheel of religion. And his philosophy, his teaching was based on a principle called chain of dependent origin. Chain of dependent origin called Pratitya Samutpad in Sanskrit. Pratitya Samutpad. Pratitya Samutpad means chain of dependent origin. Chain of dependent origin means because of one thing, because of something happens automatically. And he said that because of our desires, because of something means because of our desires, something happens. What happens? Sorrow happens. Such a simple philosophy. Because of desires, sorrow happens. If you are full of desires, you are full of sorrow. If you have no desire, you are free from sorrow. So he finally found out the real cause of sorrow. कि दुख क्यों होता है? इच्छाओं के कारण होता है. इच्छाएं बढ़ाते जाइए, दुख बढ़ते जाएंगे, है ना? इच्छाओं को कंट्रोल करिए, दुख भी कंट्रोल में रहेंगे. इच्छाएं समाप्त कर देंगे तो दुख पूरी तरह से समाप्त हो जाएंगे. So it's not possible for a layman, for an ordinary man to remove all of his desires. It requires great mental strength. And he was, Siddhartha, Mahatma Buddha was free from all of his desires. So he realized the problem of his age, 6th century before Common Era. Why large number of people were dissatisfied by their own life? People were not satisfied. They were not getting relief. लोग परेशान हाल हैं 6th century BCE में कि कोई सिक्के इकट्ठा करने में जुटा हुआ है, कोई धान इकट्ठा कर रहा है, कोई चावल गेहूं इकट्ठा कर रहा है. तो जैसे आज है ना materialistic, people were getting more and more materialistic, and people had lot of desires, and when you have lot of desires, you are also full of sorrow. So desires are the root cause of sorrow, and because of our desires and because of our sorrow, we are indulged in a cycle. अभी थोड़ा उसको philosophical touch देंगे ना. So we are indulged in a cycle, in a vicious cycle of birth and death and rebirth. Birth, death and rebirth. Birth, death and rebirth. This, we are involved in this vicious cycle when we have lot of desires. But once we are free from all of our desires, we are not going to have more rebirth. And if we attain, if we get total freedom from the cycle of from our desires and from our sorrow, we are not going to have any more birth, according to Mahatma Buddha. And this is going to be our last birth. अगर इस जन्म में हमने इच्छाओं को खत्म कर दिया, तो अगला पुनर्जन्म नहीं होगा, है ना? So what he had realized, Siddhartha had realized, he realized that world is full of sorrow. World means 6th century before Common Era India, North India in particular, was full of sorrow. उन्होंने ये realize नहीं किया that world is full of happiness. World is full of happiness. This was not realized by Siddhartha. What he had realized, that world is full of sorrow. And he said in Pali language, Prakrit, Pali form of Prakrit, language of the commoners. He said, Sabbam dukham in Pali, sarvatra dukh vyapt. Sabbam dukham, सर्वत्र दुख व्याप्त है. वो ये नहीं बोल रहे हैं कि सब जगह सुख है, बिकॉज ऑफ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ कॉमनर्स और बिकॉज ऑफ द मासेस. बहुत ज्यादा लोग तो गरीब थे ना. अगर जरा सा सोचिए, एक रिक्शे वाले को बोलिएगा, उसको जाकर के रिक्शे वाले को बोलिए कि भाई संसार में सुख ही सुख है, तो रिक्शे वाला बोलेगा क्या सुख है? दिन भर रिक्शा चलाता हूं, 100 रुपया 150 रुपया मिलता है. बच्चा मेरा रो रहा था, कल खिलौना मांग रहा था, पापा टेडी बियर ला दो. कहां से टेडी बियर लाऊंगा? 500 का टेडी बियर है. तो उसको रियलाइज नहीं होगा कि संसार में सुख है. अगर रिक्शे वाले को, इसके उलट रिक्शे वाले को बोलिए कि भैया संसार में बहुत दुख है, रिक्शा वाला तुरंत बोलेगा यस यस, संसार में बहुत दुख है, क्योंकि वो दुखी है. एंड ही इज फुल ऑफ सॉरो because of his desires. So desires are the root cause of sorrow. And Siddhartha, he realized 4 things, 4 principles called 4 noble truth. 4 Arya matlab noble, not related to the Aryans, and himself was an Arya. He belonged to the Brahmanical tradition. So, and he was a Kshatriya. So he realized, ultimately he realized 4 principles called 4 noble truths of the Buddhism. First one, what he had realized? He realized that the world is full of sorrow. Point number 2, desires are the root cause of sorrow. Sabbam dukham, पहला. दूसरा, दुख समुदय. Dukh samudaya means desires are the root cause of sorrow. Third one, elimination of desires is possible. है ना? Elimination of sorrow, elimination of desires is possible. कि दुखों का निवारण संभव है, दुखों को रोका जा सकता है. कैसे? डिजायर्स को रोक करके. डिजायर रोक दीजिए, दुख रुक जाएंगे. डिजायर बढ़ाइएगा, दुख बढ़ेंगे. कैसे? There is a path to be followed if you want to eliminate all of our sorrow and all of your desires, and that path is called eightfold path or Ashtangik marg, having 8 elements called Ashtangik marg. And Ashtangik marg, according to Mahatma Buddha, was a middle path. It was a middle path, and middle path means avoidance of extremities. अतिरेक का त्याग. Avoidance of extremities means desire एकदम खत्म मत करिए और बहुत ज्यादा भी मत रखिए, बीच में रहिए. सरकार आपको 1 लाख रुपया देगी, नौकर चाकर देगी, आईएएस बन जाएंगे, घुसखोरी मत करिएगा. ये बहुत है लाइफ जीने के लिए. ये बुद्धा बोल रहे हैं, मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूं. So finally he gave to the people 4 noble truths. World is full of sorrow. desires are the root cause of sorrow. Elimination of desires is possible, and there is a path called Ashtangik Marg to eliminate all of our desires, and Ashtangik Marg is a middle path. So following eightfold path continuously for a longer period of time, we are going to get freedom from all of our desires. And when we are free from all of our desires, we are also free from all of our sorrow. And that mental condition, when we are free from all of our desires and all of our sorrow, that mental condition is a condition of highest bliss. परम आनंद की प्राप्ति. परम आनंद की प्राप्ति सबके बस की बात नहीं है. ये महान लोग ही कर सकते हैं जो अपने सारे डिजायर्स को खत्म कर दे. एक डिजायर तो खत्म नहीं होता, कहां से सारे खत्म कर देंगे हम लोग, है ना. दुनिया दिन भर में सुबह शाम सपने में भी ना जाने कितने डिजायर्स आते रहते हैं. And it's not possible, or in fact it's very difficult for a common man, for a layman, to eliminate all of his or her desires. And that's why he preached middle path. So following eightfold path, which is a middle path, so we are suggested to eliminate all of our desires and sorrow. And when we would be able to eliminate all of our desires and sorrow, we are free from, we would attain a status of highest bliss, परम आनंद की प्राप्ति. ठीक है ना. तो ऐसा रिलेशनशिप जिसमें आपको आनंद की प्राप्ति ना हो, ना कष्ट हो, ऐसे रिलेशन को तोड़ दीजिए, ब्रेकअप कर दीजिए. अभी गाना भी बना उस पे, डिस्को वाला गाना, है ना. तो या एक वो हेलो जिंदगी कुछ करके शाहरुख खान वाली मूवी आई थी ना, कि जिंदगी को जिए अच्छे से, जहां जिससे आपके मन में डिजायर्स बहुत आए ना, जो प्रॉब्लमेटिक कंडीशन हो आपके लिए, उसको छोड़िए. ठीक है ना. बट बुद्धा ऑल्सो सजेस्टेड टू फॉलो मिडिल पाथ. So avoidance of extremities. So while you are in a particular relationship, so don't show that you are a superman or superwoman. So eightfold path, Ashtangik Marg. And what is that eightfold path, Ashtangik Marg? So he said to the people, Mahatma Buddha, about 8 points to be followed to eliminate all of our desires and to eliminate our sorrow. Pehla, right observation, सम्यक दृष्टि. ट्रांसलेशन हो सकता हो हिंदी में अलग अलग हो किताबों में, सम्यक दृष्टि, लेकिन सीक्वेंस सही रहेगा. राइट ऑब्जर्वेशन. व्हाट हैज टू बी ऑब्जर्व्ड? ऑब्जर्व दैट दिस वर्ल्ड इज नॉट फुल ऑफ हैप्पीनेस. ऑब्जर्व दैट दिस वर्ल्ड इज फुल ऑफ sorrow. Observe that. ऑब्जर्वेशन सही होना चाहिए. अगर आप ये देखें, अगर आप मुकेश अंबानी को देखेंगे तो दुख होगा, बहुत होगा. आप रिक्शे वाले को देखिए, दुख नहीं होगा. ऑब्जर्व दैट दिस वर्ल्ड इज फुल ऑफ sorrow. Right observation. This is what we know as right observation. सम्यक दृष्टि. Followed by right determination. सम्यक संकल्प. क्या संकल्प? What has to be determined? So determination in favor of elimination of all of your desires and sorrow. संकल्प लें कि हम अपने desires और इन सबको खत्म कर देंगे. Right observation followed by right determination, सम्यक दृष्टि, सम्यक संकल्प. Right speech followed by third one, right speech. Fourth one, right action. Fifth one, right livelihood. Action, speech and livelihood, ये मॉडरेट होना चाहिए, मिडिल पाथ पे, है ना. बहुत मधुर बढ़ा चढ़ा के भी मत बोलिए और बहुत कड़वा भी मत बोलिए, बीच में बोलिए. एक्शन, आपके कर्म, है ना, मॉडरेट होने चाहिए. मिडिल पाथ, वी आर सजेस्टेड टू फॉलो मिडिल पाथ. एंड राइट लाइवलीहुड. So 1 lakh salary is sufficient for your right livelihood, and while you are earning from here and from there and under table and from so many other sources, so many other corrupt activities, You are not going to be satisfied by yourself. So right observation, right determination, speech, action, livelihood. Right exercise followed by right exercise. Exercise means mental exercise. To get freedom from your bondages, freedom from the desires, and it's very, very difficult to get freedom from so many bondages. So every time we are surrounded by large number of bondages and desires, so it requires great mental strength. Right exercise, right memory, 7th point, right memory. बुद्धा ने बोला कुछ याद रखिए तो आसानी रहेगा. क्या याद रखिए? He said, for 7th point of eightfold path, he said, Buddha said, decay is inherent in all the composite things. Decay is inherent in all the composite things. We are decaying every moment. My father is decaying, my mother is decaying, my sister is decaying. Wife नहीं है. Every bond, every relationship, है ना, हर जो आप लोग हैं मेरे स्टूडेंट, all of us we are decaying every moment. We are decaying every moment. So why we have so many bondages and desires when we are decaying every moment? Every composed material, he said, Buddha said clearly, every composed material on this earth is constantly decaying. तो जो हर चीज जो, अभी आप लोग सीरियस काहे हो रहे इतना? आराम से सुनिए, पढ़ा रहा हूं. इतना सीरियसली मत लीजिए, है ना. पढ़ के एग्जाम में लिख के भूल जाइएगा ये सब. So every composed material is decaying every moment. So that's why we must not have, according to Mahatma Buddha, we must not have large number of desires and bondages. Okay? And finally, he told to the people to follow 8th one, last one, right meditation. And again, it requires your meditation. मेडिटेट करना पड़ेगा, दिमाग को बहुत मजबूत करना पड़ेगा, वरना इच्छाएं आ जाती हैं, बार बार आ जाती हैं. दिमाग अगर मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ अगर बहुत तगड़ा नहीं हुआ ना तो तुरंत डिजायर आ जाएगा. हालांकि टू गेट फ्रीडम फ्रॉम द साइकिल ऑफ बर्थ एंड रीबर्थ इटसेल्फ इज अ डिजायर. टू गेट फ्रीडम, टू गेट द स्टेटस ऑफ मोक्ष, टू गेट फ्रीडम फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ योर सॉरो एंड डिजायर इटसेल्फ इज अ डिजायर. बट दिस इज द लास्ट डिजायर वी आर गोइंग टू हैव. इसके बाद कोई डिजायर नहीं रह जाएगा. तो ऐसा सिंपल फिलॉसफी उन्होंने दिया, है ना. कितना आसान है. Desires are the root cause of sorrow. When we have lot of desires, we have lot of sorrow. When we have less desire, we are less suffering from sorrow. है ना. तो इससे आसान कुछ नहीं हो सकता था. And yesterday I told you people about the Upanishadic thoughts, and Upanishadic thoughts of the Brahmanas was so complicated that people fail to have better understanding of Upanishadic thoughts. And what the Brahmanas said, Upanishadic philosophers said, there is that there is an universal soul called Brahma. There is an individual soul called Atma. What is Atma or individual soul? Individual soul is the manifestation of Brahma, universal soul. So what is the ultimate objective of an individual soul? Is to get assimilated into the universal soul. And they had suggested 3 paths to be assimilated into the Brahma or universal soul: knowledge, karma, bhakti. Knowledge, karma, bhakti. And this was a kind of complicated philosophy for commoners, for the masses. इतना कौन समझ रहा है? रिक्शे वाले को बोलिए, ठेले वाले को, रिक्शा पुलर को, कि भैया आपके शरीर में आत्मा है. कहां रिक्शा चला रहे हैं? आपके जीवन का उद्देश्य रिक्शा चलाना थोड़ी है. आपके जीवन का उद्देश्य है परम पिता ब्रह्मा में विलीन हो जाना. रिक्शा वाला समझ जाएगा आईएएस एस्पायरेंट है. तुरंत समझ जाएगा कि किसक गया, क्या बोल रहा है ये. तो उस जमाने में भी जब उपनिषदिक थॉट्स ब्राह्मण्स लोगों को समझा रहे थे ना, तो लोगों के पल्ले ही नहीं पड़ रहा है कि क्या बोल रही है ब्राह्मण. देर इज एन यूनिवर्सल सोल, देर इज एन इंडिविजुअल सोल, मैनिफेस्टेशन, एक्सप्रेशन, एसिमुलेशन, नॉलेज, कर्मा, भक्ति. And then Buddha appeared there and he gave to the people, to the masses, very simple philosophy. Desires are the root cause of sorrow. Limit your desires, you are free from your sorrow. And one more thing. So he was, Buddha, he was so smart. So when people asked Gautam Buddha, sir, is there any soul inside our body? बुद्धा समझ गए कि अगर ये सोल ओल के चक्कर में पड़ा तो गए काम से. सो ही स्माइल्ड, बुद्धा स्माइल्ड एंड ही रिमेन्ड साइलेंट. नीदर ही हैड एक्सेप्टेड नॉर ही हैड रिजेक्टेड द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ सोल. वो समझ गया कि आत्मा परमात्मा में अगर फंसा तो बुद्धिज्म गया. सो दैट्स वाई ही had neither accepted nor rejected the existence of soul. So that's why Buddhism is called anatma, non-soul, and anicca. Anatma, and based on two fundamentals. Buddhism is based on two fundamentals, anatma and anicca. Buddha never indulged himself in any kind of complicated philosophical discussions like soul and universal soul. And when he started preaching, when he delivered his first teaching at Sarnath, instead of using Sanskrit, because Sanskrit was the language of the Brahmanas, of Vedas and Brahminical system and elites. So that's why Buddha, instead of using Sanskrit, he had chosen Pali, form of Prakrit, language of the commoners. है ना? तो अगर बुद्ध आज होते और उस एरिया में जहां पे बुद्धा भोजपुरी में बोलते हैं ना, भोजपुरी बोलते हैं उस एरिया में, भोजपुरी में बोलते तो कैसे बोलते? देखा भैया, संसार में बहुते दुख है, लैंग्वेज ऑफ द कॉमनर्स. ये थोड़ी बोलते हैं, see brothers that the world is full of sorrow, language of the elites. है ना? तो बहुत समझदार आदमी थे. And he was so smart and he had very attractive personality. Buddha always appeared to be so cool and calm, एकदम शांत. जो बुद्ध को एक बार देखता, उनसे मिलता, उनका डिसाइपल बन जाता. Even so cruel डकैत Angulimal became a disciple of Gautam Buddha. And interestingly enough, when he returned back to his palace, his mother, father, wife, cousin, all of them, they became the disciples of Gautam Buddha. पत्नी ने तो सोचा होगा कि चाहे जो हो, शिष्या बन के रहूंगी, छोड़ूंगी नहीं. ऐसे ही कुछ सोचा होगा उन्होंने, कि भाग गए थे मुझे छोड़ के, अब मैं बताती हूं. उसके बाद नहीं पता क्या हुआ बुद्ध का उनके पत्नी के साथ, जो उन्होंने शिष्या बनी थी. तो खैर, ये तो मैंने ऐसी बोल दी आपसे. लिखिए, Buddha's philosophy, Buddha's teaching or philosophy is based on a concept called so say this discussion is from NCERT old edition and latest edition and a Professor A.L. Basham. Wonder that was India. Buddha's philosophy is based on a concept called Pratitya Samutpanna or Pratitya Samutpad. Pratitya Samutpad or or a chain of dependent origin. A chain of dependent origin. So chain of dependent origin means because of one thing, because of something, something or another thing happens. Because of one thing, another thing happens. Because of something, something happens. Because of something, something happens. And because of desires, sorrow happens. So because of desires, sorrow sorrow happens. So desires are the root cause of sorrow. And because of these, so we are involved in a cycle of birth and rebirth. And because of desires, so we are involved in a cycle of birth and rebirth. So Buddha observed four noble truth. So he means Gautam Buddha further observed four noble truth. Four noble truth. Dukh means sabbam dukham. That the world is full of sorrow. That the world is full of sorrow. Second one, Dukh Samuday. Dukh Samuday. That there are causes of sorrow. That there are causes of sorrow. And what are the causes of sorrow? Desires. Or in other words, desires are the root cause of sorrow. And elimination of desires is possible. रोका जा सकता है ना. और elimination of sorrow, दुख निरोध. दुख निरोध, elimination of sorrow is possible. Elimination of sorrow is possible, and to eliminate sorrow he had further suggested to follow Ashtangik Marg. फोर्थ नोबल ट्रुथ, दुख निरोध गामिनी, कि कैसे दुखों को रोक के खत्म कर दिया जाए. दुख निरोध गामिनी प्रतिपदा मीन्स एलिमिनेशन ऑफ sorrow is possible by following, by practicing, by following or practicing a path called Ashtangik Marg, Dukh Nirodh Gamini. And say this chapter is very, very important, very, very, very important for your PT and for your mains examination. Religious development of ancient and medieval India, very, very important. And for the past 19 or 20 years, UPSC has asked not less than 40 to 43 questions from only from Jainism and Buddhism. हर साल 2 क्वेश्चन रिलीजियस, 2 से 3 क्वेश्चन रिलीजियस डेवलपमेंट में आता ही आता है. इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो Ashtangik Marg. So when a Buddhist is going to, and any person is going to follow Ashtangik Marg, so practicing Ashtangik Marg means elimination of desires. So while in order to eliminate our desires, we are suggested by Mahatma Buddha to practice or to follow Ashtangik Marg or eightfold path. Elimination of desires is possible. And once we have eliminated all of our desires, we are free from sorrow. So elimination of desires means freedom from sorrow, all of the sorrows, freedom from sorrow. And when we are totally free from our desires, when we are completely free from our desires, which means we are also completely free from our sorrow, है ना. तो जब कुछ नहीं रह गया, ना दुख है ना इच्छाएं हैं, तो एक जबरदस्त मेंटल पीस मिलेगा ना. एकदम दिमाग एकदम शांत हो जाएगा. 2 तरीके से दिमाग शांत होता है, एकदम शांत. एक ये ज्ञान प्राप्ति, और दूसरा 2-4 लगाइए, 2-4 पैग लगाइए, उसके बाद देखिए दिमाग क्या शांत होता है. 2 तरीका है. बुद्ध वाला ज्यादा बेटर है, क्योंकि बाद वाले तरीके से लीवर डैमेज हो जाता है, वो और फॉर द टाइम बीइंग होता है ना. सो फ्रीडम फ्रॉम एलिमिनेशन ऑफ डिजायर्स मीन्स freedom from sorrow. And when we are completely free from all of our desires and all of our sorrow, so we get a state of, or a state of highest bliss. And philosophically, this state of highest bliss, or a mental condition, peaceful mental condition, this state of highest bliss is called निर्वाण. स्टेट ऑफ परमानंद कंडीशन है. परमानंद की प्राप्ति को बुद्ध ने क्या बोला? निर्वाण बोला. And so nirvana means a state of highest bliss, conceptual meaning, while literal meaning of nirvana is blowing out of all of our desires, blowing out of all of our desires, समस्त इच्छाओं का बुझ जाना, जैसे मोमबत्ती बुझ जाती है वैसे समस्त इच्छाएं बुझ गईं. Blowing out of all of our desires. So this state is called, this condition is called nirvana. Literal meaning. While conceptual, philosophical meaning, conceptual or philosophical meaning, philosophical meaning means freedom from this cycle of birth and rebirth. Freedom from this cycle of birth and rebirth. So we could achieve this status of highest, or this mental state of highest bliss, by following all these 8 elements of Ashtangik marg. So what is that Ashtangik marg? Right further, eightfold path or Ashtangik marg. Eightfold path or Ashtangik marg. And this Ashtangik marg is a middle path, which means avoidance of extremities, of joy and penance. अत्यधिक सुख, अत्यधिक कष्ट, दोनों का त्याग करिए, बीच में रहिए. Middle path, that's why it's called middle path. Avoidance of extremities of joy and extremities of penance. And see, what is the basic difference between the Jainism and the Buddhism? Jainism is based on extremities, while Buddhism is based on middle path. And that's why Jainism in India never attained popularity, never became a popular religion or religion of the masses and confined to a particular area of western parts of our country, Rajasthan and Gujarat, and some patches of Mysore, and that's it. And Buddhism, because of its so simple philosophy, and it became a very popular religion in India, in the ancient India. And it also attained an international character. Its basic elements spread even out of the boundaries of our country. And see, Mongolia, even Central Asia, before being Islamic people, most of the Central Asians were the Buddhists. Central Asians, Mongolians, Mongolia, China, Mahayana form of Buddhism, China, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, even some parts of Southeast Asia and Sri Lanka, Hinayani Buddhists. Christians वहां पे भी हैं, है ना, लेकिन इतने एरियाज में बुद्धिज्म फैला. because of its very simple philosophy, very easy to understand, very easy to grasp. And on account of so many factors I would be discussing later on, Buddhism got declined from the place of its origin. अगर बुद्धिज्म डिक्लाइन नहीं किया होता ना, तो आज इंडिया में बुद्धिज्म सबसे पॉपुलर होता, लेकिन ये डिक्लाइन कर गया 12th सेंचुरी तक आते आते. ठीक है, उसके बहुत सारे इनहेरेंट फैक्टर्स हैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल. So anyway, Ashtangic marg or middle path, eightfold path, which means avoidance of extremities of joy and extremities of penance. And he suggested to us 8 elements to be followed, to be practiced. First one, right observation. Right observation. ये हिंदी में मत लिखिएगा ना, मैं प्रोनाउंसिएशन के लिए लिख रहा हूं, ठीक है, एग्जामिनेशन में मत लिख दिएगा, अभी लिख लीजिए, लिख भी देंगे तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. राइट ऑब्जर्वेशन और सम्यक दृष्टि. And what is that right observation? What has to be rightly observed? Right observation that the world is full of sorrow and not of happiness. Right determination. Right determination. Determination to eliminate our sorrow or desires. To eliminate desires. Because once we have eliminated our desires, we are free from sorrow. So for the first, we have to eliminate our desires while we want to get freedom from our sorrow. So determination to eliminate desires. Third one, सम्यक. क्या बोलेंगे हिंदी में? सम्यक क्या बोला था मैंने? संकल्प, है ना? सम्यक संकल्प. Right speech. Right speech. Right action. And right speech, right action, and right livelihood, followed by right exercise means mental toughness, to get mental toughness. Right exercise. And the seventh one is very, very important. Right memory. So right memory. So always keep in your mind that this world is decaying every moment. एंड बुद्धा सेड, यहां पे हम लोग एक कोटेशन कोट कर लें बुद्धा का स्टेटमेंट. Buddha said, right, in double inverted comma, decay. He said, decay is inherent in all the composite things. Try diligently to attain the status of moksha. Moksha here means nirvana. So moksha of Brahmanical tradition is equivalent to nirvana of Buddhism. So he said that every composed material on this earth is decaying every moment. It means every composed material on this earth is decaying. And in fact, according to the Buddhist philosophy, universe itself is decaying. Universe itself is decaying, and everything is decaying, and hence universe itself is also decaying. And last one, right meditation. Right meditation. Samyak samadhi. Right meditation. So these are the 8 elements of Buddhism. So right observation, right determination, right speech, action, livelihood, memory, meditation, इस सब कुछ फॉलो करना होगा, तब क्या मिलेगा? So while we are following all these 8 elements, now we are going to get the status of nirvana, a state of highest bliss.